Committee Member Schisler,
Here.
Chair Williams.
Here.
You have quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Rules for participation and roles and responsibilities of every committee are provided in the packet. Okay, we're moving on to the next section, approval of a meeting minutes. In section 2 of the packet, you will see the minutes from,
Move to approve.
thank you. All right. We have a motion to approve by Councilman Schisler and a second by Director Knight. Staff, will you take the vote by name and announce the result, please?
Committee Member Johnson,
Yes.
Committee Member Kemp,
Yes.
Committee Member Knight,
Yes.
Committee Member Schisler,
Yes.
Chair Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We're moving on to public comment. Do we have any speakers? No public comment? All right, this concludes the public input section of the meeting. We'll move on to committee action items. We have 4 action items this morning. And item 4A is for the committee to form a recommendation of the HART, to form a recommendation to the HART Board of Directors to authorize staff to proceed with the solicitation for procurement of contractors for bus transit infrastructure construction contracts. In your packets, you have a write-up and a proposed resolution in support of this item. Do committee members have any comments, questions for staff?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Kemp and a second by Councilman Schisler. Ms. Pettit, will you take the roll?
Committee Member Johnson,
Yes.
Committee Member Kemp,
Yes.
Committee Member Knight,
Yes.
Committee Member Schisler,
Yes.
Chair Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next is action item 4B. This contract award is to upgrade 2 complimentary bus stops at the intersection of Rome and Hillsborough Avenues. This project will construct shelter paths, landing pads, and sidewalks, along with the ADA sidewalk ramp with detectable warnings on the west and east sides of East Rome Avenue at the intersection of Hillsborough. Do committee members have any comments, questions for staff?
So moved.
All right, we had a move to a motion by Director Knight and second by Commissioner Kemp. Ms. Pettit, will you take a vote, please?
Committee Member Committee Member Johnson,
Just one thing, I'd just like to say this is great news. Hillsborough Avenue is one of our busiest routes, and the shelters have been, I'm just excited to see this moving forward.
Thank you. Okay.
Committee Member Johnson,
Yes.
Committee Member Kemp,
Yes.
Committee Member Knight,
Yes.
Committee Member Schisler,
Yes.
Chair Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Okay, moving on to 4C. This solicitation and resulting contracts will provide body shop services and requirements for all parts and labor for major minor accident repairs and paint services on all Hillsborough Transit Authority's rolling stock. Task orders will be issued on an as-needed basis. Each task order will include a scope of work, detailed estimate of hours, parts, and supplies needed to return each vehicle to acceptable condition. Do committee members have any comments, questions for staff? Councilman Schisler, you recognized?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I do have a question. And for edification of anybody that might be watching, what are we doing currently?
Justin, if you, thank you.
For the record, Justin Laffler, Director of Maintenance. We actually have contract services now. The contracts are expiring.
Okay, so just re-upping everything. Okay,
Yes.
good. Thank you. I move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Schisler and a second by Commissioner Kemp. Ms. Pettit, will
Quick
you
question,
take-
Ms. Williams, or Madam Chair?
Oh, my apologies.
I don't know if
You're
this is to
recognized.
Justin or, will some of these services be brought internally or some of these things be brought internally if we were to have a heavy maintenance facility building? Or would we still probably kind of keep this on a contract level?
We would probably do a combination of both. So even right now, what we try to do, the basic repairs that we can do in-house, we do those, but those that are more severe, significant, then we outsource that. So Justin and his team, they balance, what we can do internally versus what we can do. But yes, with the new heavy maintenance facility where we have more space, we could definitely do more of the work internally with the right resources.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any more questions? I don't see any hands raised. Ms. Pettit?
Committee Member Johnson,
Yes.
Committee Member Kemp,
Yes.
Committee Member Knight,
Yes.
Committee Member Schisler,
Yes.
Chair Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We'll move on. Committee action item 4D, a detailed write-up of the contract overview and a proposed resolution are included in your packets. This solicitation and resulting contract or contracts will provide HART with supply and repair vendors to test and maintain the fire suppression systems on bus and paratransit vehicles. Do committee members have any comments or questions for staff?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Have a motion by Director Johnson and a second by Councilman Schisler. Any
Committee
questions?
Member Johnson,
Yes.
Committee Member Kemp,
Yes.
Committee Member Knight,
Yes.
Committee Member Schisler,
Yes.
Chair Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you. This concludes our committee action items. We'll move on to our presentation, Operations and Maintenance Metrics Report for October 2021. Mr. Stephen Fields, Manager of Transit Logistics, and Nick Goldburn, Technical Support Coordinator, are our co-presenters of the Operations and Maintenance Metrics Report.
Ridership. Ridership for the month of September, we averaged about 480,000 that rode our bus. In 2020, we did 483,000, and in 2019, we did 985,000. In the month of October, you see there's a big disparity in that. We're using new methodology as in how we track our customers when they board the bus, and that made our number jump from 480,000 all the way up to 722,000. And this methodology was approved by NTD and FTA for us to start using our APCs, which is our automated passenger counters, to count our passengers they board the bus. As you see in week 1, we averaged about 42,000. Week 2, 3, we averaged 64,000. Week 3, 169,000. And in week 4, 169,000. Week 5, 164,000. And the last week was week 6, was one day, which is a Sunday, averaged about 12,000 on that particular day of the month. On-time performance. For the month of September, our goal is 85%. The standard is 77. We did 80% for the month of September, and also we carried that on and moved over into October of 80%. Our peers from last month, JTA was at 77. They dropped down 1% to 76. Palm Trade also was at 77, and they dropped down to 76 also. October on-time performance by routes. We have 34 routes. Out of the 34 routes, we only had 6 of them that fell below the national average of 77%. October missed trips, 51,515 total trips, and total trips that we missed was 0.17%. 0.17% that we did. Completion ratio of 99.83 on-time performance as in missed trips. Accidents analogies for October of 19, 20, and 21. On your left, you'll see where it's bus, and on the right, you see it's van. As our total POV strikes to HART vehicles, we have been on a decline from 14 in 2019 down to 8 in 2021. And also for the vans, rear ends was 6 in 2019 down to 2 in 2021. Preventables. In the month of October, we had 33% of the accidents we had was at 33%. Non-preventatives at 17, under investigation 50% on the bus side. On the van side, preventables was 50%, with a 17% non-preventables and 33% of those under investigation. Safety and security events. Rail, we had 6 safety things that went on. They can go from slips and falls that happened on the trolley. Also paratransit, we had 9, and on buses, we had 39. The next screen, I'll turn over to Nick Goldsberry. He'll go over the mean distance between failures.
Thanks, Stephen. Good morning, committee. My name is Nicholas Goldburn. I'm a technical support coordinator for the maintenance department. I'll be presenting the October maintenance metrics. Our mean distance between failure for October was 3,447 miles. In comparison to the prior month, that's relatively flat. We are trending slightly downwards on the 6 months. However, we're forecasting a reverse of that trend as we bring 16 new buses into service and remove 16 of our older buses from service. Our October fleet availability averaged 88% each day. We did have a few days where the availability fell below the industry standard. Staff was able to pull together and get those vehicles available for service on those days. Our preventive maintenance program remains compliant. All of our PMs all our buses were inspected at 100%. We did 98 inspections. I do want to go back to my prior presentation to answer a question from Mr. Johnson in regards to January and February of 2021. We went back and investigated why we had a slight decline. We found out that we had a senior supervisor retire after 30 plus years, and that transition led to a decline. October fleet cleanliness, we scheduled and cleaned 254 buses with a 96 compliance percentage. Our goal is 90%, so we're above our goal. We operated 4,360 vehicles in service. All vehicles were sanitized, which resulted in 3,240 buses and 1,120 vans. We also had 11 biological incidents on board, which were taken care of by staff. That concludes the presentation. Does the committee have any questions?
Thank you. I just want to say, good job. We've introduced some new metrics and new standards here, which I thought were wonderful to see, including the missed trips and really kind of out there in such a transparent and readable way, exactly whether it was bus not available, whether it was operator or whatever else. And of course, we've moved those missed trips up to a super high standard. So congratulations on that, and congratulations on it's just so clear and transparent and readable and understandable, and also to do the comparison to other jurisdictions is so helpful so that we understand and have a context for understanding how HART is doing. And as well, just the way the graphing has been done here with industry standards and our goals, as well as, very clearly seeing a couple times we have failed to make the standard, but that's you have to acknowledge that and see that and be transparent to be working on it. So I just want to say that this is excellent, and I'm really grateful for this, and really proud of the work that's being done by HART in this regards. Again, making the most out of being one of the most underfunded transit systems, but we're doing everything, doing everything so well that thank you very much.
Thank you. Director Johnson, you're recognized.
Yeah, I want to really echo what Commissioner Kemp was talking about as far as having this data in front of us. And I know we're not, having the ability for us to be able to look at it at the level that you're giving us, I think it's incredibly important as some of the things that we want to be able to move forward with. Being able to see this, and again, as, Commissioner Kent mentioned, being able to compare ourselves to, other transit agencies in the area, I think is critical for us as we move, as, Ms. LeGrand wants to continue to move the bar higher and higher for the organization. Having the ability to be able to compare ourselves not only to them, but internally to where we're always pushing ourselves harder is going to be key. And I think this is great. And thank you for going back and taking a look at the question that you had, because, as we're looking at this, and we will identify areas where we're going to have questions on this, and you being able to go back and identify something like that, as far back as it was, and quickly is, again, it's one more way that we're going to be able to use data efficiently and effectively to be able to keep pushing the bar higher and higher for ourselves, because I know everybody at the organization is trying to do that. I know Ms. LeGrand is making sure that's happening too, but, we want to be able to do everything we can help to be able to help on the data side of things, as far as on the analysis, and, just making sure we can tell everybody out in the public that, this is what we do and how we do it. Thanks, Madam Chair.
You're welcome, thank you. Director Knight?
And again, just on the piggyback, these are some of the things that we did talk about, and I personally asked on, something that you can look at and see, and really appreciate it, and thanks for everything, and continue. Great job.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fields and Mr. Goldburn, for your presentation. Good work. Ms. Mandel, General Counsel, will present the next agenda item, revisions to HART Board of Policy 120.05, Travel Policy, Board Members, CEO, and other employees.
Good morning, Board. Per our, I think it was our last meeting, we had a discussion about the travel policy being relatively onerous and not allowing for any form of real flexibility due to the fact that it required board action ahead of any travel requests by members of the board. I've revised it in order to be more in compliance with what I think you had indicated you would like to see. What this would provide for is, first, if you have a travel item that's been budgeted, then obviously that was approved as part of the budget process, so that should be able to proceed forward without further action. In the event that there's a travel expense that comes up that a board member would like to proceed forward with, much like with the CEO, the chair would have the ability to approve that travel expense so long as it's within budget. And those action items that the chair would approve would then be reported to the board at the next meeting. That assures that there still is accountability. You don't have board members running off and, doing crazy HART travel, but at the same time allows flexibility for an event that might come up where somebody would either like to go, or the CEO says, it would be really good if we had a member of the board there. And I think going forward, especially after the presentation today, there's so many more opportunities I think we're going to be seeking, that having that flexibility will be important. So this is the first public hearing per your rules for this revision of your travel policy, and unless there's any comments or questions, I don't think there's any members of the public that have chosen to make a public comment on this item. It would be appropriate to make a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Kemp,
This item will be heard in a second public hearing at your next board meeting. Thank you.
okay. All right, Commissioner Kemp has set a motion, and Director Johnson, will you second? Thank you. Lena, will you take a vote, please?
Committee Member Johnson?
Yes.
Committee Member Kemp?
Yes.
Committee Member Knight?
Yes.
Committee Member Schisler?
Yes.
Chair Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mandel. All right, we're moving to old business. Is there any old business? Your hands raised? Nope. Any new business?
Just
Yes.
Just for the record, we had an excellent presentation this morning, the state of HART, and I thought it was by everyone put together so well and done so well, and it was excellent speakers and engagement. And so, again, I think all here attended, and it was an excellent job. And we're, again, I think, looking at a new era for HART, and it's very exciting to be part of that.
Thank you. Councilman Schussler?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to echo those comments. Good job by all presenters today, and look forward to getting a copy of the video that was produced and aired so that we can get it up on Temple Terrace and get everybody else to see what good work is being done. Thank you. Good job, though.
Thank you.
Oh. No, I was just going to say that everything about today was wonderful. That video was exactly what we needed. I think that really is, some of the comments I know that we made here at the board level, and certainly some conversations that you and I have had, Ms. LeGrand, as far as changing the way that we all have the public look at, what HART is. And I know that I think you want to make some comments, so I'll keep it brief. But just thank you again for such a great event, great turnout. Looking forward to this being an annual event. So that way we can consistently all show the public what we're offering, and, that we do have such a great system, and with everybody, here in the building doing everything they can, and certainly our operators out there as well, who are all out there in the public doing a tremendous job for us.
Director Knight?
And again, piggyback. Thanks again. I thought also that was an excellent event this morning. And some of the partners that you introduced and that we're aware of, it was great to see them, and the vision, including the mayor, which is one of our comrades, that, some of the things that this city is doing already in the neighborhoods, the different things combining and under the tent philosophy is great. So thanks again.
Thank you. I'd just like to comment that the word collaboration came up, and it was evident through the partnerships with the union, your staff, as well as the panel and so forth. The collaboration is clear, and so you definitely brought that to the table and brought it, and it's showing itself as an action. So thank you for your leadership, and I appreciate the partnership across the board.
Thank you, Chair Williams, and thank you to board members. I want to say that this has been an overwhelming time because of COVID, personal loss for me, and being in a new city away from, the majority of my family, and having to lead an organization during troubling times. And I've been able to stay steadfast because of you and your colleagues as board members, as my bosses. I just want to share that, it has been an honor and a privilege to represent you and work closely with you to ensure that your vision for the organization finds its way into our staff, into our philosophy, into our culture. And I think what you saw today with the mix of folks who were able to attend was that it's not just words. You had all union leadership from the Teamsters as well as the ATU in attendance. And you could see just from the body language that folks wanted to be there. It wasn't something that they were forced to do. And they've been a part of the conversation on what does our future look like. And, I'm committing to you that we'll continue to raise the banner of HART. We recognize that there's funding that's available that we're going to work diligently to compete for, as well as the new funding that's going to be available through the formula funds. But as we do that, we just have to make sure that we're being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars, and that we're not wasting money, and we're spending it in a way that's prioritizing the value that transit would bring to the community. And that's really, what we're focused on doing. And I'm very fortunate that the team understands, you talk about the new metrics. It's not because I sat down and said, put these metrics on the paper, right? So you have Mr. Fields and Mr. Goldburn and their teams working together to figure out how can we evaluate our performance. What are the metrics that we should be using? What are the industry standards? And tweaking it. Sometimes metrics don't make any sense to the outside world. So then we say, okay, nobody knows what that means. So let's find something else that we can show so the community understands. And it's a team process. It's iterative. We have to make changes. And then also, as you mentioned, Commissioner Kemp, acknowledging where we have to do a little more, right? So there are opportunities that we have to make improvements, but if we don't share with you where we have to improve, then we can't share with you our successes in making those things happen, right? So I just want to say thank you again for all of your support. Thank you for the team. I think you heard this morning that I am a taskmaster. Even people who were coming to speak, I did give him probably 6 documents to read. But you know, if we want to be an organization that focuses on high standards, professionalism, and excellence, then we have to do the work to get there. And that's what you saw today, a team that has been doing the work to get there. So thank you to all of you. And we look forward to continuing this. As you are aware, we ended with our vision statement. That's just kicking off our strategic planning process to now build our goals and objectives and action items around this vision statement. And that's what we're jumping into. So next year, this time, we'll be able to have a full-blown strategic plan that takes us to the next 20 years. And we'll have a roadmap to how, you know, to getting to where we want to go. So thank you for the time. I know you've been, you know, lastly, I would say thank you so much for attending. I know it's been a long day. Usually we start this day at 9 o'clock for our committee meetings. We started an hour earlier. So thank you for getting up early on this chilly November morning and participating. It is chilly, Director Johnson. It's chilly. I had to wear my coat. So thank you for participating and getting up early this chilly November morning. Thank you.